Welcome back. Episode, what is it, 5 of the Dead Batteries podcast.
Yes, sir.
Episode 5. Hang on. Testing. Testing. Making sure my gain isn't too loud here.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Yeah, because I saw it just peaking like crazy on the monitor.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay. So episode 5. I'm Dutch.
Tis Jay over here on the other
A
end.
little Jose, a little Josie.
Hey, that's me. That's me.
That's me. Okay.
Like
So
Caillou,
it's been
A while.
what?
A while.
Like a month since we recorded.
Yeah.
Life got in the way.
Life did get in the way. It happens. But hey, we're still here. We're still trying. And I don't know if you noticed, Dutch, but we have 11 subscribers.
Do we?
Yeah, we have 11 subscribers. So I just want, personally, from the both of us, I want to say thank you to all 11 subscribers. I know it's a little bit, but, we started off this podcast with, just literally just to talk shit, put our voices out there, put our opinions out there. And, 11 people likes us enough to subscribe, and I appreciate all of you. I think we've gotten maybe 100 views roughly in our 3 or 4 videos that we posted. Which once again, I just want to say thank you guys. We're going to keep this going, and we're going to hopefully get better with time. So if you please subscribe, comment, all that mumbo jumbo, we would greatly appreciate it because it means a lot to us, and it's only 30 seconds of work for you guys.
Yeah. I wish I was a little bit more tech savvy. I wish I was more technically inclined when I was younger, because I could have, by now, if I would have done that when I was in middle school, if I would have been doing technology, computer stuff like this, then I wouldn't have so much trouble now. But I'm glad that I'm getting into it regardless, and being able to work a microphone to some extent, and hopefully eventually learning Adobe Premiere or something, so that I can start making my own videos on my separate channel.
Yeah. See, I'm a firm believer of it's never too late to learn something. Long story short, I might go into a program at my local college or university, whatever, that's going to help me, or correction, it's going to be a technical school to maybe fix Teslas, like get in that actual field and shit like that. So, I'm only 24, but it's never too late, bro. Like all these people saying, oh, I'm my mom. She's like, oh, I'm 40. I don't do this stuff. I don't know how to, use Google and YouTube and all this mumbo jumbo. You do it for me. I'm like, bro, it's never too late.
Yeah. Do you know the situation with Terry Crews?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it is when his son got into PC gaming or something like that, and he learned about the PC stuff because he wanted to spend more time with his son, something like that.
Absolutely, yeah. And Terry Crews, he's the guy, and it's very cool to see him dive into that world, especially one as complex as PC gaming. At least, still me from an outsider's perspective, that's impressive.
Yeah, because I'm currently going to school for computer science, and most of I still haven't done any of the actual computer classes. It's mostly been Common Core, classes bullshit. And a lot of the stuff I know, I built my own computer, and a lot of the stuff was just literally YouTube videos, Google guides, stuff like that. And we thankfully live in an age where you can find anything on the internet, right? You can find, I learned how to change my oil from the internet. I learned how to fucking do my tires from the internet. I've learned how to read a user's manual for a car. It's never too late to learn stuff. And anybody who tells you, or if you have the mentality of, oh, I'll never need it, it doesn't concern me, I can just pay somebody to do it type thing. I don't know, but for me, I feel like a level of accomplishment when I figure it out on my own. You get me? True, I can pay a guy $100, do my oil, whatever, or I can spend 60, spend 2 hours, and do it myself type thing.
Yeah, I mean, there is that sense of personal accomplishment, but I mean, that is if you have the time of day to do it. And like with changing oil, I've talked to people who know how to change their own oil, and a lot of them, or at least a small percentage, or some percentage of them have said that by the time you get everything and you get under the car and whatever, it may just be more expensive and more time consuming than just going to someplace to get it changed by yourself.
Oh yeah.
But if you if you choose to do it like maybe on a weekend when you're not doing anything
Exactly.
and you have the time to do it, then yes, I can see where the gratification comes in.
Exactly. Like everybody's different. I thankfully have the weekends off, so I don't, I can just do my
Same.
oils on the weekend or whatever the case might be. But I don't know. It's just a level of accomplishment to say I did it. That it just feels gratifying. So I don't know. That's just me. Everybody's different. I am by no means a gearhead. I don't know the ups and downs of a car. I know very very basic stuff. So I'm learning how to change a brake pad right now, or my brake pads for my car. Very basic stuff, but it's still fun because you never know when it's gonna come in handy, and it's a skill you can pass down to your brother, your sister, your kids, whatever the case might be. Like it's all experience you can learn from.
I remember last year when my brake pad went out on one of my tires. I had to drive around with it for like an extended period of time, and every time I would come to a stop, it would just be just nasty sounds, and then eventually I got it changed out. But yeah, like if you have something that you can fix and you have the ability and whatever, it is nice to be able to do that by yourself.
Of course, and I'm also a big proponent of ask somebody who knows more. Like ask your local car head that's a friend. Like ask people. Don't be scared to, because a lot of people I for example me. I went to the gym, and something that I was very shy of is because I used to be a big boy. I used to be almost 200 pounds. Right now I'm like cruising.
Like me right now.
Yeah. But you're taller than me, so it doesn't. You're not as chunky as if you were my height. Because I think you're like 6 feet, right? Some shit like that.
I'm 5'11".
Okay, whatever. 5'11". Okay. So, but either way, it's so even though we potentially could weigh the same, it disperses more because you got like 4 more inches to work with. So it looks different. But yeah, when I went to the gym, I was super nervous. I was scared of going over there and be like, oh my god, look, there's that buff guy who can bench press 300 pounds or whatever the case might be. He's gonna be looking at me, some fat slob who is getting on the treadmill for the fucking first time in like 4 years.
Yep.
So a lot of people are scared to basically seem like an idiot in a field they've never tried before. And I'm the same, but dude, just get in there, have fun. Work your ass off, learn, fail, because you will fail, but just get back up.
Yeah, I mean, so I only just recently started wearing cutoffs to the gym. So I would take old T-shirts and I would cut the sleeves off and make tank tops.
Yeah.
I think the last 2 months or so, I can't exactly pinpoint or remember when. But it is. I was trying to push myself out of my own comfort zone to be able to, hey, you may have some degree of body dysmorphia, and everybody. It's my personal belief that everybody has that to some degree, but some people will say you look good and whatever, and it's just more of that self-confidence thing. And to what you were saying is that nobody's really gonna be judging you
the way you think they are
at the gym, really. Honestly, because I'm an avid gym goer. I go 5-6 days a week, and I get those gains. But as long as you're re-racking your weights and just cleaning up after yourself, I could care less. I'm not gonna. If anything, it is more empowering and more good to see somebody who is overweight and trying to get in shape in the gym and putting in that work. And
Of course.
it is very, you kind of live vicariously through them, and you say, hey, you're doing this awesome thing, and you're getting in there, you're working your ass off, you're shedding those pounds, you're putting on muscle, you're doing whatever, and it's really awesome to see that. Cause
Oh, dude, 100%, 100%. But
oh, I was just gonna say I've been like 200 for the last, like I hover between like 200 and 220, maybe 230. I don't think I've really gone over 225, but like it's very hard for me to get lower or put on more muscle if I want to. My body really just wants to stay right where it is.
Yeah, yeah, of course, and but once again, it's you fighting your body. And to my point, when it comes to somebody's going to the gym and feeling like everybody's gonna judge them, that's just how they feel. That's at least how I felt. When I go to the gym or try anything new, like changing my tires or changing my oil or whatever the fucking case might be. When it comes to that, I personally feel like, hey, this, as I said, the macho man Randy Savage, who's at the gym 24/7, is looking at me and is like, oh, look at this idiot, he doesn't know how to use a treadmill, ha ha ha, look at me, I'm so good, I'm so powerful, like that's how I feel. And I know for a fact they're not doing that. They're like, oh, I don't give a fuck, I'm over here just doing my gains, doing my reps, like I don't give a fuck about anybody else. But that's how I feel, and I'm sure that's how a lot of people feel too. Like, nobody wants to look like an idiot, you get me, in public, right? Nobody wants to fall in public, and that's something you got to get used to, bro. Like, going to the gym helped me out so fucking much in terms of my self-esteem, not just physically, but like mentally, where I'm like, bro, I don't care if you're making fun of me, even though you're probably not, but subconsciously I think you are, because I'm gonna go have fun and I'm gonna go try it out. You get me? So I just I always tell people to just go have fun, try something new. Worst case, you fail, you hate it, it wasn't good for you, whatever the heck. But hey, you tried it, right? You never know.
Yeah, like I recently switched workout routines. I'm on a I don't know if have you seen Fire Force at all, or read Fire Force?
The anime? Yeah.
The anime. The captain of the eighth squad.
Yeah.
Captain Obi.
Yeah.
I've got a workout plan designed around that physique, and because that fits more my frame, because I'm a bigger guy. And I also started. There's a 5-day workout plan that I found, and then there's a bonus day, which is a jump rope, like jump rope centered, half CrossFit workout. It's intense. I tried it on last Sunday, and I got my ass kicked. And it's definitely interesting and like you were saying, trying new exercises and thinking to yourself, you may look stupid, but you're just doing the best motion that you can in the exercise that you can. If you can't get all the way down, if you can't do full range of motion, you just do as best as you can. And if you feel like you don't want to keep going with that, switch it up, do whatever. But it's always nice to change it up.
Of course, and it's just as I said, like I was my biggest hurdle when going to the gym and losing like the 40 pounds was social anxiety. Like as I said, so fulano de tal, so and so is gonna make fun of me or whatever the case. And that did happen. They didn't make fun of me. It was just like, I guess I was using the machine wrong, and then this guy came out of nowhere and he was like, hey, this is how you do it. And I felt so embarrassed. Like, my face was so fucking, I was like, fuck, I'm an idiot. Oh my god, I can't believe I didn't know how to use the fucking machine. But eventually I was like, thank God that guy showed me, because now I know how to use the machine. So like, not everybody's the asshole you think they are. We're all human beings. We all just, consciously just want the best for each other, because the same way you feel about, when you see somebody overweight and goes to the gym and, like, you feel proud for them in the sense of like they took that big step to lose that weight. Literally the exact same way, more than likely, like 80% of the gym people who go feel about you.
And I always feel like a bit of I always feel like an asshole if I want to go up and like, hey, like if I want to correct somebody on their form or something like that. But sometimes I feel like I should, and then I don't.
Of course.
Like if you're doing like free weight dumbbells and you're doing an exercise and you're moving your chest, or doing, if you're like, say you're doing arm curls, right? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes if you're getting to the end of a set, sometimes you're gonna kind of use your body weight to kind of swing your arm up. You shouldn't be doing that, because that takes away that motion from your arm, and it's
Right.
instead putting it in your hips, into your body, and it's taking that focus away. And like,
Right.
sometimes maybe I should get on it more. I don't know how you feel, but I feel
And
like
all
I
that-
should, like, hey, try not to move your, if you're getting to that point where you're swinging your arm, you need to either lower the weight, or you need to do lower reps, because you shouldn't be swinging your whole body, or you shouldn't be moving a part that isn't supposed to be moved in the exercise.
Yeah, yeah, but my argument to that would be everybody's different. Some people are very petty. It's sort of like, oh my god, who's this guy coming up to me and saying I'm doing it wrong? What does he know? Me, Like, it all depends, bro. Like, for me personally, if I was in your shoe, I would go ahead and do it, because even if, let's say, 80% of the time, you get that stingy petty Betty, those 20% of the time, you really help somebody out and they learn, like that was me, right? Like, I wasn't the petty Betty. I actually took what he said. I felt a little bit embarrassed, but whatever. I took what he said and I learned, and I know how to use the machine now. But I'm like, and plus, maybe you meet a cool person out of it. Who knows, man? Like at the end of the day, if you can help, why not, right?
Yeah. Like, I was, all of my friends that I made in the gym, they're all buff, just super jacked, some of them, and super lean, some others, and I kind of just met them through talking, and we're all hanging out talking about anime in the middle of the gym floor and whatnot, and we managed, I don't know if I said this last time, but we got this guy, I won't say his name, but this big, just jacked, he looks like a Nordic god. He's got blonde hair, looks like a Viking, right?
Uh-huh.
And a couple months ago, me and some of these other guys were talking about anime down, by these other machines, and then he comes up because he's friends with the guy I'm talking to, and he's like, "What are you guys talking about?" And then we say, "Oh, we're talking about anime," and he's like, "Oh yeah," and so he said, "Well, what should I, if I want to get into that, where should I start?" And we're like, "Oh, you should try Death Note, you should try this, you should try this, you should try this." And then I think that was like a Thursday. And then the next time I saw him, he comes up to me and he says, "Dude, I'm all in." He went and watched Death Note, he watched Code Geass, he watched like
Code
3 or 4
Geass.
other series in like 4 days. It was like over 100 episodes worth. It might have even been 150 episodes worth of anime in like 2 days, or in like 4 days. It was insane. And then he's like, "I'm all in." I'm like, and then he watched like all of Demon Slayer up to the point, and it was insane to see like what some would classify as a gym rat, these big buff dudes,
Yeah.
coming in and being like, "Holy shit, this is fun. This is kind of cool to watch, cool to experience."
Yeah, because I don't know if you remember, but remember when anime was super niche, like back when we were at least when I was in middle school, it was
Middle
super
school.
niche.
Yeah.
Dude, like, what is that? That's like around 12, 14 years ago, roughly.
Yeah.
Like when around that time, bro, only the nerds, only the geeks, only like the bottom of the fucking, social ladder watched anime, bro. And if any cool kid was caught watching anime, you are socially castrated, bro. And now anime took over, bro. Now anime took over. Everybody's watching it. Everybody, whether you watch anime or not, knows Demon Slayer, fucking knows Naruto and shit like that. And it's because it's fun. I feel joy when other people join, the things I'm into, right? When people take the same pleasure of things I like, like that to me is like awesome, like welcome to the group type thing, especially for somebody in the FGC, the fighting game community, because we're fucking super niche as fuck. Like, it's very rare for us to meet another fighting game community, person who's really into it, unless you go to like tournaments and shit. So it's just a wonderful feeling to have like that gym rat story. Honestly, like made my heart flutter because I'm like, fuck yeah, we got another one.
And then yeah, I call him, my nickname for him now is he's a lurker now, and he's like, you guys talk about anime, and he'll come crawling up and like if we're off in a corner somewhere, and he's like, you guys talk about anime now. It's so much fun.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, it is. It really is to bring somebody into that. And yeah, like I remember in middle school, because I remember when I first got introduced to anime and manga, I read Naruto, and they had like almost all the volumes up to that point in my middle school library, and I would check out 2 of them at a time, and I would read one in like an hour. I would read it like in between like 2 classes, and then I was done with it. So I'd take it back like during lunch or at the end of the day, and I would grab the next 2 or whatever. And it was just, I was speed reading through it, and I remember I would always keep it tucked away because I was like, yeah, I don't want people seeing me with this. And
right, you're gonna be socially castrated.
Mm-hmm. And then now, I mean, literally, I've got a bookshelf right there with all my manga on it, and that's my pride and joy right there. All my manga, and my comic books.
Oh yeah, dude, it's a different feeling, you know, like reflecting back in middle school and high school, and as to where I am now, it's like, you know, we've come a long way because, you know, the same mentality, you know, because now, you know, back in the day, I cared about being maybe not the coolest kid, like I didn't give a shit about getting the Jordans and all that shit, but you know, but I really cared about you know, not being a fool, you know. And like I remember when tech decks were the big shit, you know, and like everybody can do the finger, the you know, the ollies and the flips and everything like that on the fucking tech deck. I thought that was the coolest shit in the world. And then when people brought the grinding set and the half pipe set to school, like you were the baddest kid in fucking school if you had that shit, dude. And then I forgot what it was, but in high school, believe it or not, at least in mine, Yu-Gi-Oh took over. Yu-Gi-Oh dueling in lunchtime took fucking over, bro. Like we literally had the cool, like quote unquote the most popular kid in the school fucking learn Yu-Gi-Oh and buy like 3 good decks. Like he bought the starter deck, he bought cards for the starter deck, he bought booster packs. He literally grinded the most OP deck, and he was the coolest kid in school. And he was with us, and everybody, you know, all the cool girls and everything. That was like, oh my god, what is this? What the fuck are you playing? And the girl was like, Yu-Gi-Oh. And he's like, oh my god, that's so cool. I was like, bitch, like fucking like 3 months ago, your ass said this was stupid. Now it's cool.
It was it's like the Fortnite craze when that was like 2016 to 2019, really.
Yeah.
Because I remember jumping on the train like just before it got started and before it ran out of the station, and then jumped off right before it took off.
I just don't like the building, dude. I can't get behind that, bro. I shoot somebody and they create the Eiffel Tower, and I'm like, well, might as well lose.
I think they took building out of it.
No, I think there's a.
Or is it just a mode?
Yeah, it's just a mode where you can have no building, which sounds cool, but you know the taste is already soured for me, so I don't care about going back.
Like the 2016 to 2019, that era of the battle royale, which took over, and I mean even it took all the way over in every like the whole like Black Ops 4, I think it was. Yeah. It was no single player mode.
Blackout.
And it was blackout, and it was multiplayer, and it was zombies, and that was it. And I'm like, you're really going hard in it.
Oh yeah, dude. And now it's all about games as a service. It's all about the live services taking over right now, right? No more single player. You know, it's all about multiplayer. It's all about getting you that cosmetic. It's all about taking all the nickels and dimes you have, and you know, like, ugh. It's getting annoying.
Yeah, no, it's scummy business practices. I remember when Blizzard was like in court, if you remember this, when they went to court because
Oh,
they had all the the loot boxes and everything.
was that Blizzard or EA?
That it might have been EA. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so the surprise mechanics.
Yeah, surprise
Yeah,
mechanics.
definitely
Literally saying
EA.
that
Yeah,
on
that was
the
EA.
court
Yeah.
floor. I'm like, oh my god, you scumbags.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that. And I'm a victim of it too. You know, if it's purely cosmetic stuff, I don't have as much of a problem with it. But if it is pay to win type stuff, then there is a very serious and um, endemic issue, because if kids are, you know, they take their parents' credit card and they just spend ungodly amounts of money, and then they have to pay for it, and it's like, oh my god.
You know, there was this there's this one article where because you say, at least in the consumer side, that as long as it's cosmetic, you're okay with it, right? I actually read this article where you know, because let's be honest, Fortnite is mostly full of kids. Like, it's all up, like, they thankfully took the squeakers away from Call of Duty and all that. You know, like Fortnite has all the kids basically.
Yeah.
And there was an article saying about how I think this was during, like, whenever the hell John Wick was like the 100, you know, the 100 tier trophy, you know, or whatever season that was. I think it was like season 2, 3, I don't fucking know, whatever. When John Wick was the big thing. It was around that time frame that this article said that kids are bullying other kids in the game if you just have a default skin. If you got the shitty free to play skin, you know, like if you don't spend the hundreds of dollars to get the cool new badass skin, like, they will bully the fuck out of you to the point where they would, like, you don't want to play the fucking game anymore. I'm like, that's fucking wild, dude. That's fucking wild to me.
I remember when Destiny was a thing.
Oh, dude, Destiny was so good.
Did you play that?
I did. I played one religiously. I played it so much, and then I just
did.
didn't like.
Yeah, I remember when it came out. That was literally the only game that I would play, and I played it basically every day. And I remember, because I didn't have any real friends,
Yeah.
at the time, I remember, you know, I would do the strikes. I never had enough people for a raid, you know, and that always disappointed me, because I would never get the cool raid gear, and I would never have enough people, you know, experience enough to do the nightfall. Remember when nightfalls were a thing, and then they would give you like the blue flame around your head?
Yeah.
I always loved, you know, watching people go by in the tower and have that blue flame and have this cool armor on, but I was always, you know, I felt left out because I didn't
FOMO.
have the people to do it, the friends to do it, and then if you try and join up with a random group, then it's like you're the only guy here who doesn't know what you're doing with these guys you don't know, and they're trying to navigate, you know, they're trying to make you navigate their way through these raids. And I remember doing Vault of Glass for the first time. That was really fun. And then now, you know, obviously, if I were to go back to it, I could do it. I would know what to do. And Crota's End, I think is what it's called. That was a fun one. I remember when I did that for the first time. I think I recorded doing that with friends of mine, because you start out, you know, on the upper part of the moon, and then you have to go out to this platform, and then you drop down into the core of the moon. And I remember recording my drop, and I was like, holy shit, this is cool. Doing that. I've only done what is it, King's Fall, the Oryx one. I've only done that like 3 times, I think, and I never figured out the mechanics for some specific sections, and that one, because that one was really complex.
The only thing I remember about Destiny, because I played it when it first came out. I paid the $60. I was there when the vanilla version dropped, and I just remember just enjoying my time, having fun, you know, getting a little gear. And I think Peter Dinklage was the ghost.
Dude, I miss Peter Dinklage as the ghost.
Yeah.
I like Nolan North. I love Nolan North. He's one of my inspirations, you know, for, you know, if I were ever to get into voice acting, which maybe I want to still do that as some side work. I would love to work with my voice, but he's one of my inspirations for that because he's Nathan Drake. He's all these cool characters, but I loved Peter Dinklage's almost robotic, a little bit more subdued performance.
Yeah, that's how I feel about like you know, you brought that up and it reminded me of a topic. It reminded me. Have you seen the Netflix Sandman that came out?
I did not, but that is definitely on my list to watch.
Dude, I watched till like episode 4, when Death came out, right? Because I know the Sandman because I actually have him tatted on me because I'm a big fan of the Sandman series. Like, so I've never, well, correction. I've understood people's gripes with race swap, right? Like the whole Wesker on Resident Evil, like I've understood people's sensation about oh my god, this character is Wesker from the Resident Evil games is completely different. He's white, blah blah blah, all that jazz compared to the Wesker in the Resident Evil TV show, and like I've understood people's gripe. I understand, but it never hit home until I saw Death in the Sandman, because now she's black, right? She has curly hair, and I look at it and I'm like, that's not the person I have tatted on me. That's not the person who fucking comic books I've read. That's not the person who I fell in love when DC made their animated short, their like 20-minute animated short introducing Death. That's not the Death I fucking know. That who the fuck are you? You're an imposter. And no gripes to the actor or whatever, but like, it finally hit home as to why people can get so defensive and so like maybe not radical, I feel like that's the wrong word, but very emotional on their characters, right? And I just wanted to bring that up because it really fucking hit home when I saw Death for the Endless, and fuck, dude, I was so upset, bro. Like literally, I'm not gonna watch it anymore. I was so pissed.
Okay. So I never got into the Sandman comics, but I did see him. I see him all the time when I go into comic book shops and Barnes and Nobles and everything. And I was like, well, this has some really interesting art. I would hope to get into it one day. But I think because obviously the show is an adaptation, and you could still, you're you have her tatted on your arm. You can still have that, and you can still be appreciative of that because it's more based on the comic book version. That's like, if I were to get something like Marvel related tattooed on me, I would get it for the comic book versions because those are more, they work better, as inked on your skin. Because if you get Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man tattooed, like it's gonna look a little funky,
See, but my gripe is that she originated from comic books, right? That is the main source material, right? Like, what if let's say I gave you a story, right? Let's say there's this beautiful blonde girl who is stuck on a castle, right? She has beautiful long hair, and she's blonde, blah blah. Basically, give you the tale of Rapunzel, right? And I, as the creator, chose what my character is. I decided to, I had the infinite races. I could have made her Asian, could have made her black, could have made her Hispanic, could have made her whatever the fuck. I chose white, I chose blonde hair, I chose blah 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 blah. And then comes so and so company, and then they switch it for me for no discernible reason. Like, I would understand if because you know what's a big counter argument is Peter Parker versus Miles Morales. Like, that is a big argument because we went from white teenage, Spider-Man to, teenage black Spider-Man, and we see the racial difference. We see, the cultural difference, right? Peter Parker deals with his own thing in his high school, and we got Miles Morales, who deals with the situation he deals with, especially in the game, fucking the Spider-Man game. They did an amazing job because if you play Spider-Man with Peter Parker and you play Spider-Man with Miles Morales, you can see the difference. You can see the actual characters in the city saying, it's cool. We love that white Spider-Man. He does awesome things for us, but he's not our Spider-Man, right? He's not the Spider-Man who comes down here to the ghetto, to the Bronx, and fucking deals with the shit because that Spider-Man takes care of the bigger problems, right? Like nobody takes care of the smaller community type shit. And that was an amazing job. You took a character, you made him completely different. You took a well-established character, you made him completely different, and people fucking loved it. Miles Morales still stuck around. You know who fucking Ironheart is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where is she now? Where the fuck is she now? She's dead. She's dead. Well, maybe not canonically dead, but she's like, in sales, she's dead. Because nobody likes it. Nobody likes it.
I think the problem more is the writing. If we don't do something different with the writing of the character, like you were saying, like cultural differences, like between you and I'm white, you're
Hispanic. Yeah.
We have certain cultural differences. We grew up completely different ways.
Of course. Right.
It's all down to a character writing perspective. It has to be new stories. It has to be, if you're gonna take old stories, you gotta twist it. You know, you gotta like I remember, I haven't read the run, but I know of the comic book series, and I need to read it because it looks really, really good. I remember, I don't know if you follow like Marvel comics at all.
I'm not the biggest comic book person, but I know a little bit. You know, I know more than the average Joe.
So, like, I think it was like 2014 or some, early 20-teens. There was a comic book run that started. It was the Superior Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, Doc Ock swaps minds with
Spider-Man.
And he's in his dying body. So Spider-Man, Peter Parker, dies in Doc Ock's body.
Yes.
Doc Ock takes over as Peter Parker, and he eventually sees that, I can do some good in this body. I can become the superior Spider-Man. I can become Spider-Man, but better. And a lot of people, when that first came out, they didn't like it, but after reading his run, and reading that run of Superior Spider-Man, they really liked it. And then the aftermath, when Peter eventually comes back, he's in charge of a company that Otto built, and he's like, well, now he's got just all this shit on his plate, and he has to deal with it. But like having Spider-Man be this super technologically advanced dude in his mind, and having to tackle Peter's relationships while being somebody else in his head, it's an interesting take on the character. And then eventually that Superior Spider-Man comes back in other forms, in like the Spider-Verse comics that inspired the Into the Spider-Verse movie and the games and the
exactly.
And
but see, you see what's interesting about that is that we went from Doc Ock, who is a supervillain, right? Fuck the world, I'm gonna destroy everything, give me my son, whatever his motives are. We went from, because everybody knows Doc Ock, right? Everybody who follows Spider-Man has to know Doc Ock. And we went from his point of view, right? The evil bad guy, supervillain, kill everybody, blah, blah, whatever. And now we saw the 180. We saw him, as you said, you take over Spider-Man's life, do good when he could have done evil. Like, we see the contrast. We see, it's not Spider-Man and now you have Spider-Man Doc Ock. It's Spider-Man and now you have Doc Ock trying to be Spider-Man. You get me? Like it's a different take. It's a different aspect. You see him struggle with, do I be the bad guy or do I be the good guy, right? Do I fuck Peter Parker's relationship up, or do I try to continue them, like you see that. But my gripe is, the big difference is, imagine that if you have the entire, let's say the Sam Raimi films, right? The Sam Raimi Spider-Mans. Like, what if somebody today decides to literally take the T of the Sam Raimi films, right? Take all the beats, all the bad guys, all the scenes, all the action pieces. Take literally it cut for cut and just make Spider-Man black, or Hispanic, or whatever other fucking race you want to put in there. There is no difference. I'm just watching the same shit with black Spider-Man, and there's no difference. You get me? Like, if you give Miles Morales his own movie, like you did in the Spideyverse, like that was completely amazing because we dealt with a side of Spider-Man that we've never seen. Mm-hmm. We've dealt with a different form of Spider-Man, because Spider-Man doesn't have a father figure, quote unquote, right? Because Uncle Ben died, right? Great power comes with responsibility. But we see, how in the movie Miles Morales' dad affects him, how he's trying to make his dad proud, how his family comes into a role, how his uncle fucking mattered. His uncle was a bad guy. His uncle was a prowler, and that affected him. Like it was a Spider-Man story told from a new perspective, and that's my issue. Because with the Netflix adaptation for the Sandman, they literally took the I think it's like the first 12 issues of the comic book for a T, but they just swapped Death's color because they could. There's no benefit, right? Because she's an endless being. She's a god basically. So race doesn't really fucking matter when it comes to that. But she's Death. I've never seen Death full of color. I've only seen, like if you were to picture the Grim Reaper, do you see him full of color? Do you see him like a pale being type thing?
I see him more as just like a set of white bones. Just a skeleton. That's about it.
It's just like I guess my issue is I grew up with this version of the character, and now who the hell is this character, right? Who's this version? You get me?
So like, and this can extend into the. So there, when the character designs for the new God of War Ragnarok game came out, for like Thor and all these, characters, and Thor specifically, everybody and like Angrboda, who is in the game depicted as black, and who the actress portraying her is black, but technically these are fictional characters, right? They're not fictional mythological characters, which opens them up for artistic interpretation and change, because they're not real. They're not real characters.
Of course.
So I would counter with that.
Okay, but my counter argument would be is it made sense though, because I think you were talking about the change design between the God of War Kratos that we grew up with in 1, 2, 3 and how he looks now in 4, right? If I understood correctly.
Well, that and like so Angrboda, she like in mythology she's depicted as white because they're Norse.
For the Ragnarok situation. With
for the Ragnarok
the controversy.
With those character designs that they released, Angrboda, who is married in mythology to Loki, who is Atreus. Obviously, these are Norse.
Right.
These are Norse beings, so they're almost always depicted as white. But she's black, and then Thor, he's a big fat redhead.
Yes.
Which, I mean, that's technically...
Which was more, I think they were accurate.
That's more
accurate.
mythologically accurate to...
Yeah, compared to the Marvel
than the
Thor.
MCU blonde and cut as fuck.
You see, but like, here are my counter arguments. Number one, for Kratos. Kratos made sense to change, in his appearance. Why? Because it went from Greek mythology to Norse mythology. So obviously you can't have the same Kratos. It makes sense to me, right? Some people can disagree, but that makes sense to me. If you're gonna show that, hey, we're no longer worried about Zeus and the Greek gods and all this bullshit. Now we're gonna go to Norse with Odin and all these other crap. It makes sense to let the people know that, hey, you're not playing the same God of War. You get me?
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. And with the I forget her name. I'm not even gonna lie to you. The character, the race swap. I'm not bothered by it because I didn't grow up with her. I didn't know who she was before God of War Ragnarok. Right? So personally, to me, I don't care if she's black. I don't care if she goes white because I didn't grow up with her. I don't have that level of connection that I do with Death from the Sandman series because I grew up with Death. I saw Death. I read her comic books, right? I'm like, if you like, for example, if I was to say, hey, Dutch, who is the Batman voice when I say, imagine Batman saying hi? Who is the Batman voice that you picture in your brain?
Kevin Conroy.
Exactly, right? Now imagine if there's a new Batman out there, like the whole Jensen Ackles when he did the Batman movies. Jensen Ackles from Supernatural. I think it was like The Longest Halloween or some bullshit like that. Whatever.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Jensen Ackles is the Batman voice actor of that one. To me, it was weird. I enjoyed Jensen Ackles from Supernatural because I watched it. I watched all of it. But it felt weird to me. I still enjoyed the movie. It was weird to me because for me it's Kevin Conroy, just like how Mark Hamill will always be the Joker for me. You get me? So so I feel people, at least the people who really have a gripe with the race swap for that character, is because, in my opinion, they either A, grew up with that character as, you know, how she is depicted in actual Norse mythology, and, you know, like, they're like, what the fuck? This isn't the character you guys... If you guys want to be so... What's the word I'm looking for? So accurate in the mythology, just like you're making Thor, you know, fat and a redhead, why are you switching this character? Like, what is the point of switching this character's race if you're spitting out that you want to be accurate? You get me?
Yeah. As long as the actress does a good performance, that, you know, or the actor, the actresses, whoever, I'm fine with it. That's the only you know, exception that I'll give. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if they're just swapping it for that,
For just sake
but
of swapping it.
So here's what I will say. I will watch the Sandman,
Okay.
having not read the comic books, having
Right.
had a superficial, hey, you know, that looks interesting, I'm gonna read those, you know, eventually, but I will watch this series first, and I will come back eventually, and I'll put it on my notes here, and that we'll talk about it, and I will, having not read the series prior to, I will watch it, and if she has a good performance, if this actress who plays Death has a good performance, then that's my metric here. As long as the actress has a good, you know, delivers her lines, and she puts on, you know, if she embodies that character, then I have no problem
Right.
with it.
See,
No.
see, but for a lot of people, myself included, specifically on the Sandman series, I just don't want to give her that chance because to me that's not Death. You get me? Like I forget what they're called. You ever heard of the fucking folklore tale? I think it's called Gremlins or Changelings or something like that, where basically when you have a kid, you know, these mythical woodland creatures, they come, they take the kid, they eat it or some shit like that, and then they replace it with one of their own that looks exactly like your fucking kid.
It reminds me of a creepypasta, but go on.
Yeah, but and you know, it's a fictional story, and in most of the stories, you know, the mom can tell the difference, right? They're like, you know, the dad is like, oh, you know, that's the same kid. What the fuck are you talking about? But
Yep.
the mom's like, that's not my kid. That's not my kid. Like he his eyes are different, or, you know, whatever the fuck, right? Like that to me is how I feel about specifically this series with the Sandman, because as I said, I grew up with Death being pale, you know, black hair, fucking, you know, gorgeous as she is. Like, I grew up with that. And, you know, as I said, not knocking the actress, you know, I'm sure she's doing great, whatever, I don't care. But she's embodying my character. A character, and you know, I say mine loosely, whatever. But she's embodying the character I depict, I imagine. If you tell me, hey, Jose, how does Death look like to you? Straight up, Sandman series. No questions asked. You know, just like if I was to ask you, hey, how does Iron Man look to you? You have your own interpretation, right? You and you know, and same thing. If I was to say, hey, who is the best live action Joker, right? Do you embody Jared Leto? Do you embody Heath Ledger? Do you embody the guy from The Shining? I forgot his fucking name.
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson. Like who do you embody the Joker from the Adam West TV show? Like who is the Joker to you, right? And to me, that's my Lady Death. That's my, you know, Endless, and, you know, I'm sure she's doing great. I'm sure she can deliver her lines, whatever. But that's not the character I enjoyed, because I saw the Sandman actor, and he looks completely different from how he looks in the comic book. Completely different. Literally have him right here, and that is not the actor. That's not how the actor looks. But I could deal with it. I could deal with it because they try to keep it as close to the source material. I even love his voice. His voice was amazing. Like that voice actor, like that actor, to me, if you tell me who is the Sandman, my brain goes to his voice. You get me? So that's my issue. You know, like as I said, she's an Endless, right? If you were to give me a story about Death, like fucking, I had a point where you were talking and I just completely lost it, right? Static Shock. You know who Static Shock is, right?
Yep. Watched that
Now-
when I was a kid.
Exactly, the TV show, and the TV show constantly depicted what's going on, in the poverty side of the area, where like the school shootings, right, the gang babies, and everything like that. Now, what if you were to put Static Shock in a white suburban area?
Yeah.
You see,
Okay.
and that's that's the issue. It's not that the character is black or white. It's that it's not the character I grew up with, and the changes were just made to get points.
Okay. So I think with the Static Shock, I think with the Static Shock thing, if you were to swap, if you were to put him into, if you were to put him into a, because I can't exactly remember what goes on in Static Shock. It's been 10 plus years, like probably, um, but if you were to put him into like a wealthy neighborhood, again, that's changing the entire dynamic of the story. That's adding, that's changing the dynamic of the story. But again, I think what you're hung up on is the superficialness of the changing of the race of the actress. Because you could still have, again, like I said, you could still have the comic book interpretation on your arm, and you could still, because when I watch this series, when I go and watch the series, I'm gonna appreciate the actress for her performance. If she portrays death, she's gonna portray death. If she doesn't portray death, and then I go and read the series, and I feel like the comic book does it better, the comic book does it better. But I think you're just hung up on the race change because it's
I just
because
feel
it's the race change.
I feel like it's a needless change though. Like, what if you were to make Black Panther, who's Wakanda's in fucking Africa? What if you were to make him white? Like,
Well, that wouldn't make any sense.
Exactly. So why should, for example,
Well, death
right?
is a death is a fictional concept that like everybody across the face of the earth will have different images in their collective unconscious of what death looks like.
Okay.
So if you have
Okay.
have death as the Sandman's interpretation in your mind, why shouldn't that allow for the filmmakers and the show creators to be able to change that?
Because it adds absolutely no value to the character, aside from I get points on Twitter.
I gotta watch this series. I gotta see because I still think I think you're hung up on a superficial aspect because
Let me ask you. Okay, okay. Better argument. Have you seen the Teen Titans Starfire, the CW live action DC streaming platform bullshit? Have you seen that Starfire?
yeah.
Have you seen the original Starfire from the actual Teen Titans comic book?
Yeah.
Do you know she's an alien?
Yeah.
Why did they change her race? What benefit did that give to the
Because she's
character?
an alien, she can have a race change. It doesn't matter.
She's a Tamaranian.
She could literally be green
She
skinned and nobody would give a shit.
She has a race. She's a Tamaranian.
Yeah, and okay, so
Uh-huh.
I'm staring. I've got Hellboy on my coffee table right there. I've got the first volume of Hellboy, Seed of Destruction.
Okay.
And so I'm currently reading that right now.
Okay.
And there's a character in there who helps Hellboy out. I can't remember her name, but she's a human character, and she's typically Irish, and she's a redhead, right?
From the movie, right? She was the girl in the movies, I think. Because my only experience to Hellboys is the movies.
So not those movies, but I'm talking about the comic books
Okay.
right now, right?
Okay.
I can't remember her name exactly, but she would help Hellboy out on these adventures, and she's depicted as Irish, and she's redhead, frizzy hair, whatever. And
Okay.
then in the movie,
Mhm.
she's in the new, like the 2019 R-rated
Didn't
one
watch
with
that one.
with what's his name? The guy who's in Stranger Things, the older Dan Harmon, not Dan Harmon, Dan.
The cop.
Yeah, the cop. What's his
He was
name?
Hellboy.
Yeah.
I don't know his name, but okay, I know who you're talking
Sorry.
about, huh?
But in that movie, she's depicted as black.
Okay.
But the issue, the thing is, there are people of every race in every country. So why does
Right.
it matter? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like you can have an Asian person in London who has a who has a friggin' posh accent, and like I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense to me why people are like, why. And maybe I'm being contradictory because humans are contradictory creatures, but I don't know, it just doesn't seem to be that big of a deal
Big
to
of a
me.
deal. You see.
So
Once
maybe-
again, my issue is that it was just done for the sake of being done. You get me? Like now, if you were to, for example, let's say, let me see, let's say, fuck. Iron Man, right? Let's say Iron Man, right? Tony Stark, right? He grew up in a wealthy neighborhood with a wealthy father who was a tech billionaire. He went on private planes, private lessons, blah blah, right? Learned everything, right? He's white, great, perfect. You give me that story, that to me is Iron Man, right? He lost his father, right? The whole situation, right? He got the heart. Great, to me that's Iron Man. Now, if you were to give me, let's say, a black Iron Man, right, where maybe he grew up with nothing, maybe he grew up in the ghetto, maybe he didn't have a father, maybe blah 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 blah, you know, like, and to see that struggle, right? Because right now I live in in you know, maybe not the best area, so I you know, have a lot of I have a lot of friends who go through this, and I know, or at least I feel I know, when a change is just for the point of a change. You get me? Like what if you give me, let's say you drew the Mona Lisa, right? Leonardo DiCaprio's Mona Lisa was drawn by Dutch. Confirmed.
DiCaprio.
Confirmed, mind you, confirmed. I just spilled the tea, right? And then you give it to me. You're like, Jose, this is my original creation. This is mine. I made this. All my hard work. I chose to make the Mona Lisa a girl, right? I made her, you know, not smile, or I don't know if she's smiling. I don't remember what the fuck she's doing anymore. Oh my god, brain fart. And then I'm like, great, thank you, Dutch. Thank you for giving it to me. And then I put it in my museum, and now I changed it to a boy. I changed the Mona Lisa to a boy with a bald, you know, I changed it to Vin Diesel. Perfect. I changed the Mona Lisa to Vin Diesel.
That's a sexy Mona Lisa.
Dude, straight up. But why did I do it? For the sake of doing it. You get me? That's my gripe. Because Starfire, it made no sense. It had absolutely no cultural impact on her being black because she's a Tamarina. She's an alien. She will always feel like an alien. What was the point of switching her, right? Miles Morales, he lives in a completely different neighborhood area, has different struggles than Peter Parker would in the white suburbs. You know? So that to me is the gripe. If you want to change a character and give her new struggles, give her a new cultural identity, then please do it. If you can do it right, fucking do it. Why not? Right? But if you're just going to do it because, hey, Spider-Man is white, he's amazing, let's get a black actor in there to play Spider-Man now because for the fuck of it, like, why? You know?
Mm-hmm.
For what reason?
Well, we're going to have to come back to this. I'm going to have to go watch the series, and I'm going to have to judge the actress on her abilities.
Her performance. Okay.
On her performance, because that's what the metric should be, not based on the skin color. I'm at a loss for where to go, but I will. I'm gonna train out of this one. That was a nice long conversation. I feel like we talked. We had a little bit of discourse.
Of course,
we're gonna
always,
come back
you know?
to that. I don't know, next episode or the episode after, but I'm gonna definitely put it on my list. I'm gonna watch it.
We'll come back to it. Welcome back to it.
My aunt, who's black, she she and I recently got to talk again at our family reunion. And she and I were kind of like book nerds, bookworm, whatever. And she's like, "Have you seen the new Sandman series that just dropped?"
Ooh.
And I was like, "No." But I know Neil Gaiman, and Neil Gaiman writes really freaking well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited to see it. But she's like, "Yep, check it out, whatever." And so and maybe I should get her opinion on that, on the actress change as well. But we'll see. But I wanna segue into like just the last little coda thing, completely different, completely
Right. By all means.
So remember, I think it was like back in episode 3, we were talking about how like I struggle with like being witty
Yes.
ish. So I got texts last month for my birthday, and all of my dad's friends, they text me up and they say happy birthday, and I said, one of them says, "You're buying every night at deer camp this year," meaning drinks at the bars, and I said, "Thanks, guys. It was a quiet night. You guys would run every bar in this town and this town out of business, and their liquor stock given the opportunity, and my entire savings would be gone 10 times over. So you guys need to take it easy this year, if that be the case." Could I classify that as a witty banter, or
Dude,
do I need to work on that?
Straight up, dude. That because you took the situation. You told them basically in a very nice and polite way to not happening in the way you expect, and you made it funny. You get me? Because more, somebody could just said, "No, I'm not buying the drinks," or "I'm only gonna buy you guys the first couple rounds," like the first 2 rounds, But you made it funny. You made it witty. You took what was actually in hand, and you spun it around into a funny, like hypothetical, right? You're gonna run me out of business. You're gonna the liquor stores are gonna be closed, and like you made it good. You made it witty, and it's with practice that you get better. I am, like I'm a very, what's the word? Like I'm a very blunt, witty, like dark person in the sense of like, and like I feel like I do generally feel like that was witty, and you should practice more and try new avenues.
Yeah, I think maybe take some not some comedy classes, but maybe go on like Skillshare, not sponsored. And I don't know if they
What
have
is a sponsor?
some sort of comedy classes. Just try and work on it, I guess.
I feel like the best thing you can do is look at. There's this other podcast, and I don't mean to shill or whatever. There's
Shout 'em
another
out.
podcast called "Let's Talk About Sets."
Shout out, let's talk
it's-
about sets.
Let's talk about sets. Shout out. And basically, it's 2 comedians who talk about other comedians' lines. Like famous. Like 1 minute. Line, joke, whatever.
Like a set.
And
like a little
they
joke.
dissect it. They tell you what they did. They tell you how they brought it up, and they basically talk about the sets. They talk about the comedy, all the techniques that were done, everything like that. And if you really want to learn, that's a good podcast to go listen to. Once again, it's Let's Talk About Sets. It's on Spotify, I think. And that's a very good podcast if you really want to dissect the nitty gritty of comedy and all of the techniques and everything like that. Which it's free, so no Skillshare, no nothing. But just like everything else, being funny, being witty, like having the ability to turn a situation on its head, it's a skill, and every skill needs to be practiced. And if you want to get good at maybe potentially being quicker on the draw type thing, right? Like if I tell you something and then you want to think about a witty joke and maybe come back to me, like ASAP, or I think a good comedian you can listen to is Andrew Schultz.
Okay.
He's he works the crowd, which means he looks at the crowd and he talks shit about them, right? Like, "Oh my god, hey, random person sitting on this row, what do you do for a living? Oh, you work as a as a what the fuck is as a correction officer, you ever see people fuck each other? He's like, no, I don't see people fuck each other. And he's like, because you put on your headphones and you and you listen to and you're pumping Little Nas X while that fucker's over here being pumped by Little Nas X type thing. You get me? So if you really want to learn how to quote unquote work the crowd and get better at the situational comedy, I think like Andrew Schultz is a very good comedian to listen to.
Yeah, on my YouTube and Instagram feeds, a lot of stand up appears because I like to watch these 1 minute jokes and everything, and this guy comes up every so often and he does some really good work. I just looked up a picture of him. I'm like, yeah, I know this guy. Okay, so yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Yeah, because eventually I'd with this YouTube channel venture that I want to get into, I want to improve my comedy, so I can write jokes that have both visual, audio, and just verbal gags. So I want to be able to pop those off because I have like half a dozen random jokes that I think would maybe be funny for completely separate videos, but I'm just waiting on those, just those few jokes, so I can eventually put those in. And but yeah, I want to be able to, be popping off every real quick. So
that's such a skills and time, man. That's all it is, and learning, because I don't know all the techniques of comedy. I know the basic. I grew up in an environment where it's either you rank on somebody or they rank on you, and it was literally sink or swim. so it was literally by trial by fire that I got good at making fun of people and being witty and all that shit, because if not, then you get fucked over in high school. So but there's
like
also
a roast competition.
Yeah, dude. Like I was somewhere in the middle. I was never the best, I was never the worst, I was somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
And
Or a rap battle.
Dude, never. I can't rap for shit.
I can't either.
I can't rap for shit. But yeah, and there's different forms of comedy too. You can work the crowd, which is what Andrew Schultz does. You can do like standalone jokes, which is hey, like I really don't like people who don't give you a second chance. I drop my best friend's baby once and they never want me to carry it again. Like which is standalone jokes, and a good comedian for that is Anthony Jeselnik. He has a couple of specials on Netflix, where it's literally, okay, that was joke 1, I'm never gonna touch it again, go to joke 2. That's joke 2, I'm never gonna touch it again, go to joke 3. That's joke 3, I'm never gonna touch it again, go to joke 4. That's the type of comedian he is. You could also do Bill Burr, which is he's a very fuck your feelings type of comedian, which is very refreshing and very good.
I love Bill Burr.
Yeah, I love him too. He's my favorite comedian. So there's just a couple comedians you can get into. As I said, there's a different form of comedy, and it's all about trial and error, bro. Not all your jokes are gonna land. Maybe one of your jokes is gonna make one person laugh, while the other one's gonna make 20 people laugh. Like, comedy's subjective, bro. Don't be scared. Once again, right? Don't go to the gym and expect everybody's gonna look at you and criticize you. Just go have fun.
Okay.
That's
right.
what we call a callback.
Yes. So I think we're just over an hour here, about an hour, 10 minutes. Do you want to, I think we cut it off there?
Yeah, it sounds about good. We talked good. I feel like, our 11 subscribers, once again, thank you.
Yeah,
Of course. And I think we're going to call it here. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Thank you for stopping by, and we'll try to be more consistent. Hopefully life won't get in the way as crazy as much as it does.
Oh my gosh, my laptop, like I was saying last week, we didn't record because my laptop shit the bed.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it was wild.
All right.
And I think I was in Georgia like last week or something like that. So
yeah, it was 2 weeks ago, I guess now.
Yeah. So.
So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. We appreciate it. Like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that. Do all the regular YouTube stuff.
Of course, and
we
more.
will
Yeah.
we will do
Yeah,
our
dude.
best to keep going and improve, and we're just gonna keep going. This is episode 5,
Yeah, I'm having
hopefully of
fun.
many more.
Right. Of course, man. Of course. But thank you guys once again, and adios.
Goodbye.